Does your adolescent put themselves down? Do they say things like, I'm stupid, or I'm ugly, or I hate myself? Sounds like your household. Stay tuned. A question from a viewer has asked us, how do we deal with our adolescents' negative self-talk? With Family and Community Support Services, I'm a family support worker. Children and youth for over 5 years now. And this is Amanda. And I'll let Amanda introduce herself.
So yeah, I'm Amanda Lawrence, and I'm the Youth Services Coordinator for FCSS. I've been with the agency for about a dozen years, but prior to that I also worked with at-risk and marginalized youth as well. So my entire professional career has been about youth, and I have 4 teenagers of my own. So although I'm not an expert at anything, I have some insight and perspective on some things. So the question, I guess we'll just jump right in. Resilience has got to be key. So as our kids are growing up and developing, putting ideas of resilience, the ability to bounce back from challenges, and how do we go about doing that? I talk a lot about resiliency both in the schools, with parents, those kind of things. Growth mindset comes to mind as well. So what that is just looking at things a little bit differently. And people sometimes think, oh, it's just flipping the switch. So if I said, like, I can't do anything right, and somebody's like, oh, you should have a growth mindset. You should just say, I can do this. That doesn't work that way, actually. None of our brains are wired that way. So basically what it has to be is like, oh, you know what? Like, I need to work at this so I can get better, as opposed to trying to convince yourself of something unrealistic in the moment. And I think that's good scripting for tweens and teens, because they're learning how to have those adult conversations and having those adult feelings, holding space for more than one feeling at a time, those kind of things. So yeah, definitely looking at things. So if we're encouraging our kids, if our kids come home and they're like, I felt so ugly today, or why am I, the biggest person in my class, or whatnot, supporting them through that and normalizing those feelings, because we all have them, and we all have them all the time. It's just what we do with them. And so just, if you feel this way, tell me some details, give me some specifics. How come how come you're coming with this conclusion? Let's work through it a little bit. And a lot of times we can see through that jealousy, right? They're comparing themselves to their friends. And then we work on, okay, well, everybody's in a different place in their lives. Nobody is taking the same path. Nobody's doing the same things. Nobody has the same parents, all of those things. And so, again, normalizing it and just getting to the root of the problem, and then you can go on with that. And so, just an example, I had my youngest, she was really getting anxious and we couldn't figure it out. And every Wednesday she had a stomach ache, and it was, she was nauseous and really couldn't describe her symptoms other than my stomach hurts. And as we kind of went through and figured stuff out, the details, we found out she has a double math on Wednesdays, and she is struggling in math. And so we then turned it around and said, instead of, oh, you're anxious because you have a double in math, we started calling it the case of the Wednesdays. And so then when we get up, we'd be like, yep, it's Wednesday, but you got to do it, and you're going to do it this way, right? So, yeah. Those are some
So practically speaking, could we just kind of maybe role play a little in that, I give you, so my child comes up to me and says, I'm ugly. Why am I so ugly? All my friends are beautiful and I'm so ugly. First response would be to say, well, you're not ugly, right? In our house, it's beauty from the inside out, those kinds of concepts. But in the moment, I realized, that's not really helpful. So your teen comes up and tells you that they're ugly and all their friends are beautiful and they're ugly, how would you start that conversation?
I think I would start by just being like, oh, honey, like, I don't know where that's coming from. And we talk about, you know, beauty from the inside out. And I'm sorry that you're feeling that way today. I'm sorry that, you know, whatever happened at school happened, that you felt the need to compare yourself to your friends. And let's talk about it. What kinds of things would you like to be different, or do you like about yourself, right? Focusing again more on what do we like and what can we work on necessarily. It's not just beauty, right? It's character, it's personality, it's temperament, it's all of those things, right? And so just normalizing the feelings, telling her, like, don't tell her that she's wrong, right? And that she shouldn't think that way, because again, it's normal thoughts, and we just need to empathize with them, support them. One of the things I didn't mention that we could do is affirmations, and so just some positive messaging is super important. Again, we have quotes all over our house and in my office and everything, so just those subtle encouragements, I guess. And as parents, another thing we could do that I'm really looking into now is, instead of telling our kids, oh, you're so pretty, or you're beautiful, or those kind of things, start recognizing things that aren't on surface level, right? And so, oh wow, like, look at how great you did on the math test, or, you know, your mark in science is an 80, I'm so proud of you, right? Because if we're focusing less on appearances, they are also going to focus less on appearances.
What's interesting is the change between, so grade 6, so going from absolutely no interest in appearance to focused pretty strongly on that. So I think that's something to be aware of, that building those building blocks as they're growing, of not focusing on appearance, and yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the big transitions. That grade 6 year, grade 6 and about grade 10, I find, are the biggest transition years for kids, because they're starting to develop at different rates now, right? And so they start caring about what their friends think. They start caring about what they're wearing, and, you know, how they look, and all of those things. And as parents, if we can prepare ourselves a little bit for that, then it won't come as such a shock. It won't be like, oh, bam, what do you mean now I have to start, not have to, but you want me to spend hundreds of dollars on clothing when we were just shopping, you know, at a superstore or whatever, right? And so preparing ourselves as parents as well, because the conversations are going to get harder, for sure.
All right, well, I think that's a good wrapping up spot. Again, any more support we can give you, or more questions you may have, www.fcss.ca is our website. County of Warner FCSS Facebook page. We'll be back next week at 1. Drop your questions if you have any. Thanks for listening, and have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.